Hi everyone and welcome to MixFit Class for the week. So hopefully everyone's feeling well. Sun is mildly shining, hurrah, as opposed to snowing. So this week we have got a few sections to do. So mobility, something I've called lying down legs, something I've called a bit of abs, and something I've called let's get sweaty. So hopefully they're all fairly obvious, but we're going to work our way through different muscle groups. And then we're going to do a nice cool down at the end. So we've got about 45-ish minutes to do this with. So whenever you're doing this, hope you're well. And if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to just email me or text me, no problem. And if you're live, of course, you can bring yourself off mute and have a go. So let's try and get a little tiny bit of a stretch on the go, but we are going to start with a bit of mobility. And what we're going to do today is back work. So just stretch your arms all the way up nice and tall, clasping your hands together. Sorry, that's slightly off camera. And then lift and bringing it down. And then we're going to roll down, rolling it all the way down. Drop your head and relax. That's it. Okay, let's roll it up. Head loft. And once you're up the top, we're just going to roll those shoulders. So it's a full body workout. So we'll just make sure that everything's all nice and loose and the other way. And then nice big circles. Let's do 3 one way and 3 the other. That's it. Try really hard not to body roll. If you have been typing, let's just get those wrists rolled out. We are going to use them a little bit. And shake them out. And with your leg, I just want you to lift it up and then flick it back. So that should get your hip flexor and your quad. That's it. And let's go the other side. As I said, we are going to start with mobility, so you should feel fairly stretched out for the first section. Let's do a couple more. And flick back. Wonderful. Okay, just give yourself a little shake out. Right, so mobility, we're going to start with our back. We're actually going to come down onto the floor, so I'm going to bring the camera down. So back work. Backs can be very, very tight and extremely sensitive. So depending on how your back is feeling today or generally, just go to your own mobility, okay? So some of this is a little bit stronger, some of it is not as strong, but you just go on what you think is comfortable, because the last thing I need to do is sort of pinch your back. That's not what we're trying to do. It should be a nice stretch out, a nice flow. So the first one we're going to do, we're actually going to work our way through a child's pose to a cobra. So the yogis out there, you should be a little bit au fait with this, and to a certain extent for Pilates as well. So we're going to start on your back of your heels, kneeling down, and we're going to bring our hands right out. So this is your child's pose, okay? So you can bring your knees a little bit far out. Really nice and big stretch with your hands, and then drop your head. So we're going to take a nice deep breath. I'm not going to talk into the floor. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And quite frankly, if there's any kind of stress at all, this is a really, really good pose to get yourself into. Any kind of discomfort as well, this is a really nice one. Okay, so this is your child's pose. And then I want you to bring yourself up through all fours, and then you're going to push your hips forwards. Now, depending on how flexible you are is how much you push your hips forwards. So that is your cobra position. Now, if you are, there's absolutely no way that you're able to do that. I want you to come down onto your forearms. So this is a half cobra. So it doesn't matter as long as you feel like your back is going one way than the other. So we're going to bring ourselves back up, come into your child's pose and relax your back and shoulders. And then you're going to swing that through and relax down. So your back is moving completely from one way to the other. This also happens to get a nice stretch for your hip flexors and your abs. So bring it all the way through. Down, forehead down, nose down. Deep breath. And then we're going to flow that forwards and sink down. Remember, you've got the half cobra option. And when you're in this cobra, I really want you to sink those shoulders down. Looking forwards and relaxing. And let's go for one more. So squeeze your glutes, lift using your core and bring it down. Relax down onto the floor. And bringing yourself up, through, and relax down. Okay, roll yourself down onto your tummy and then putting your hands next to you, we're going to come up onto all fours. That's a good way of getting yourself out of that. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is a knee circles variation. So I literally want you to flip round entirely. So we're on to our backs. Nice and gently bring yourself down. Hopefully everyone can see me. Just roll down. And then get yourself comfortable. And we're going to bring those knees right in. Okay, so there's a few ways of doing this. And what I'd like to do is work our way up to the spine vertebrae, actually. So if you first of all start with your knees bent, but just slightly bring them further away from your chest. And we're going to do some little tiny circles. Now, where you should feel this is right down the bottom, so your coccyx area, the last set of vertebrae, the ones that are actually fused. So tiny, tiny little movement. Again, if you do have pain in this area, it's sort of like a little mini self-massage this. Tiny circles one way. And if you stop those circles and then bring them the other way. Now, remember not to bring your knees too near to you, otherwise that will start to bring you up, further up the vertebrae. We'll do that in a sec. So whilst you're doing this, just really try and relax your shoulders. Okay, and one more little tiny circle. And bring yourself back to center. Now, I'd like you to just bring those knees in further. So they're much more towards your chest, but actually you don't really need to hold on yet. So you can if you want to, if that's not too close, but if they're nice and close, then we're going to do little rocks from side to side. So what you'll find is that's just gone up a few vertebrae. Not by far, it's still lower back, right at the bottom. You can feel your pelvis, which is something called the iliac crest, and it's right at the top of your pelvis, and there's some bones there, and right there, and right at your lower back vertebrae. Tiny little rocks. Now, I wouldn't go too far over, otherwise you'll fall, but just lifting one side of the pelvis and then just lifting the other side of the pelvis. That's how far out we should be. And again, it should feel a really nice massage. Okay, bring yourself back to center. Now we're going to go further up, so you're going to need to bring yourself in. So we're wrapping our hands around, bring those knees right in and lift your head. Now what you'll notice is that that's crept up. Now I really would go very, very small on this because you really will fall. You've formed a tiny little ball, and we're going side to side, and you should feel this in your mid-back now. That's it, little tiny ball, tiny little circles. And if you're starting to feel that in your neck, just use one hand, and you're still forming that little ball. It should feel very, very relaxing for your back. Okay, come back to center, drop your head down, and relax down. Lovely. Okay, that's your second one. And just to consult my notes. And okay, your third one. So from this position, I just want you to take a leg and then roll yourself up nice and slowly. And the third one is we're actually doing different planes of movement of your back. That's what I'm actually doing with these movements. And actually this one is a twist. So it's this plane of movement as opposed to that plane of movement. And this one's called a full Lord of the Fish. I'm definitely going to need to talk you through this one. So if you are a yoga expert, you will know this one. But I'd like you to start with a little bit of twisting and maneuvering involved with this one. So start with your legs nice and straight. And what I'd like you to do is fold one leg over the other. That's the one. And then that leg, bring it up. And so that's pretty much parallel with your knee. So we've got that nice and close. Please note opposite arm, not the same arm. So this leg, this arm. wrap that arm around. And so you're basically giving your knee a tight hug. Now, that's one part, and you're going to bring your hand behind you, and then we're twisting. So this is a half Lord of the Fish, if you're interested. Now, when you're twisting, it's not so easy to breathe, so just take a deep breath in, and then you're breathing out and twisting further. Okay, nice and gently bring yourself around. Keep your leg where it is. Now what I'd like to do, and again, you just need to note what I'm doing here. You need to lean the right way. You're leaning on this side, okay? So where your foot is. You're going to lean over, and then there's only one way to tuck your leg. So you're spinning that leg around. Have we got that? Yep. And then you're going to bring yourself back up. Right, now this is a little bit tougher. So if you're like, oh my God, I can't do that, my knee's hurting, stay exactly where you are and do the half Lord of the Fish. Now this position, basically, we've knotted ourselves up. So you're going to do exactly the same thing with your arm. So bringing it round with the opposite arm, and you're going to bring the other hand backwards, and we're twisting. Apologies for the iPad noise in the background of my 8-year-old. And little giggles. It's lunchtime. We're holding it here. Now this, my lovelies, is your full Lord of the Fish. Nice deep breaths whilst you're here. Not the easiest to breathe in. And bring yourself back around. Now what you should have stretched there is your hip and your glute, but all the way around your back. So it's been really quite a strong stretch all the way around. So if you're feeling tight in any of the departments, that is quite good. Okay, to get yourself out of this, lean backwards and take the top leg off, and then you're going to slide yourself out of that one. Now the trick is remembering which foot you put over in the first place. So I know I did my right, so I'm going to now do my left. So you're going to start with crossing your leg and then bringing that up. And we're going to start with the half. So again, it's the opposite hand. Wrap that around, keep that nice and close, give it a hug. Hand behind and twist. Holding it here. You should feel that in your glute as well, and your hip and your back. Deep breath in. Release and twist. Holding it there and rolling it back to center. Okay, so let's go into that full Lord of the Fish. So again, opposite way. So it's the foot, you're leaning towards that, flick your leg round, and then you're righting yourself back up. And if you can get both bum cheeks back on the floor, that's the ideal. So we're in this little knot position. Remember, it's the opposite hand round and your hand backwards, and then we're twisting. So deep breath in. And release. Good, rolling it back round and release yourself. And then you're going to bring your hands backwards, top leg off, and you're bringing yourself back. Excellent work. Right, that is your full Lord of the Fish, my lovelies. I love it. Right, so section 1 done. Mobility in back should be feeling much nicer now, I hope. So section 2, we're going to go into lying down legs, I've called it today. So what this is you'd be quite surprised how much you can actually do, work you can do lying down for your legs. And most people think, oh no, I've got to be standing up and I've got to be having heavy weights. You'd be surprised. So optional, completely optional, is a mini band on this. So you can put a band around and it will certainly make a difference. Barnaby, my darling, the blue one's going to be fairly tough, so have a go. But if you're like, okay, I can just take it off, of course, if you need to, because the blue one is quite tough. So if you are going to put a band on, I'm going to do it without, just so if you don't have a band, you can see. You're going to bring that band up to just pass over your knees, please. That'd be great. And then what I'd like you to do is take a nice little side lie. So harder, just to warn you, harder if you have got a band on, easier if you haven't, both hard though, not simple. So we're going to lie down and make sure that you're nice and comfortable. So you're supporting your head, supporting your neck, and we're lying into an S shape here. So knees are bent and feet are away from you. So we're nice and comfortable. Now you will feel a little bit of a gap there. That's absolutely fine. And then what we're going to do is something called a clamshell. So bringing your feet out, those knees apart, toes together, and squeeze. Now, As you're doing this, particularly if you have got a band on, you'll start to notice that it adds up in this department here. This is your glute medius and through around to your hip, and you should start to feel it right here. And even if you haven't got a band on, it starts burning. So we're going to start in this position. So when you're bringing your knee up, push your hip forward slightly, and that will just squeeze your glute and bring it back down. It doesn't have to be really high, and it will be the height as to what your hip can cope with. Squeeze and back down. And if you don't have a band on, really feel about squeezing. Okay, the resistance band will do it for you. But if you haven't got one on, you really need to sort of really squeeze. And let's go 2 more. So lift up and down, and lifting up, squeeze and down. Lovely. Right, that's your first one. Now, luckily or unluckily, we've got 2 sides. We're going to do everything on one side, then we're going to swap around. So I would like you to keep your bottom leg where it is, and your top leg is going to extend out like that. Now you're going to make yourself parallel, so that's parallel with your body. And now what we're going to do is either use the band or just without the band, you're going to lift up. Now, if you have got that band on, you should feel quite a strong squeeze there. And down, and lift, squeeze, and down. Let's keep going. Squeeze and down. That's it. Nice and controlled. Again, if you have got that resistance band on, really squeeze. If you haven't, I really need you to feel squeezing, like you're squeezing your glutes and really pushing against gravity, really. And let's go for 2 more. So parallel and push it up and back down, and parallel, squeeze, push it up and bring it back down. Lovely. Oh, right. If that's really like, oh my God, just literally put your knee in front. Okay, that locks out the muscles there. Just give it a little squeeze if you need to. Oh, a little massage. Okay, right. Your final one, you will need to stabilize yourself slightly differently. So we're going to put our hand in front. Bring your leg back out to straight, and the other one is bent. Hand in front of you like a little pyramid. And then what we're going to do is lift up to parallel, and then you're going to now squeeze that knee in to meet your elbow. Okay, so here's your elbow, bringing it out to parallel. In, squeeze to your elbow, and again, if you've got the resistance band on, this is going to be quite hard. In and squeezing it. If you haven't, again, really pull that in. So you should feel that your glute medius is doing the work, your hip flexors, and actually now your obliques are slightly doing the work. Let's pull yourself in. A little bit harder. Squeeze, touch, if you can, and then away. Up and touch. Squeeze it in. And let's go for 1 more, particularly if you've got that band on, it's getting tough now. Squeeze and move it away and relax your leg down. Absolutely lovely. And then bring your leg in. Oh, relax it off. Relax it off. Absolutely brilliant. Okay. You know it. We've got to do the other side. Oh, yes. Right. So we're going to bring ourselves up. Keep the band where it is, and then flick yourself around, or obviously just turn around. But just make sure you can see the camera if you want to. Right, so rolling it down. I'm going to have to keep my head up a little bit further on this one just because I've got the earpiece in. But we're going to reset ourselves. So get yourself comfortable. Hips stacked, knees stacked, feet stacked. Hand to balance if you want, or onto your side, up to you. And then we're going to start with those clamshells again. So lift, squeeze and down, and lift, push it forwards. Now we're thinking about those hips, bringing it down. So push your hips and lift and bring it down. Squeeze and push and down. That's it. Roll it down, squeeze and lift. Keep it going. Squeeze, that's it. If you have got that band on, this really should start to add up now. Second side's always harder because you're resting on the first side that you've just fatigued. Okay, this is the last one. Up, squeeze, and back down, relax. So you've always got the option of putting your leg forwards, and that locks off the muscles. Okay, so completely up to you. So second one, we're going to elongate that leg, and we're going to avoid our sofas. Here we go. Okay, so bring yourself up to parallel, and then we are lifting. Now again, quite intense. You should feel it about here, all the way around that area. Glute medius, squeeze. Important set of muscles this, bum shaping stuff. Oh yes. And back down to parallel and lifting it up, squeeze. If you've got that band on, this is going to be quite tough now. If you haven't, it's tough enough. Really, really squeeze that muscle. Let's go for 2 more. Lift and squeeze. That's it. Looking good. And down. Lift. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Bring it down and lock it off. Give yourself a little wriggle if you need to. Mini massage. Oh. Okay. So final one, we're going to reset. We're going to bring that leg nice and long. Lifting it up. Remember your hands in front, the elbows pointing out. And then you're going to squeeze that right in, touch your elbow if you're able to, and then push it back out. Now, if you have got a particularly tight band on, this is going to be quite tough because obviously there's a bit of a distance there. And depending on what band you've got on, if it's not a flex fit one, it might wrinkle up on this one. Mildly annoying. So if it's that bad, take it off. If you're able to crack on and go for it, really squeeze that in and back out. And let's go for 2 more. Bringing it in nice and controlled, squeeze. Stretch that out. Oh, now the dog's kicking off. And in, squeeze, and back out. And rest it down and bring it forwards. Oh, absolutely lovely. Well done. Okay, little massage, little massage. Wonderful. Right, I think that's quite enough of that. So if you just want to roll over, bring the band off, and then that's our glutes covered nicely today. Oh, I've obviously lost my thing now. Hang on. Okay, right. So we are going to the section 3. I've just got to plug this in because it's about to die, which is not helpful. We are going to do a bit of abs. Hence, it's called a bit of abs. So we're going to do 3 different ab movements. I'm actually going to time this one. So we're not going to do based on my brain timing. I'm going to do it on actual timing. And we are going to go for 30 seconds. And then we're going to do 3 moves. So one of them is a star crunch, which I'll show you. The next one is a reverse crunch. And the last one is a leg extension. So the leg extension is probably the easier one. The star crunch is probably the harder one. So let's get the hard one out of the way first. And then we can get, for once, I'm not going harder, harder. It's like hard, easier, easy. Okay. So the star crunch, you're going to bring yourself onto your back. And then we're going to bring ourselves out into a little star. So we're out here, and then you're going to bring yourself in. Okay, so that's your crunch. Out and in. Now your legs don't need to go all the way down. Out and in. What I would like you to do is hold it though, okay? So you're holding your legs out there, and we'll keep going. So join in when you're able to, and reach out. Little star position, and reach. That's it. Nice and slow. There's no hurry. Really crunch in and just hold it there for a second. The way you should feel that is like your top 2 abs here, and your hip flexors are having to work to hold you in. So let's go 3 more. 1. Breathe. 2. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. And bring it down. Absolutely lovely. Right, so that's our first one. Okay, so the second one, a good old reverse crunch. So a little bit more classic, this one. So we're going to bring ourselves in, and then the movement is out and crunch in. Okay, bring it out, crunch it in. There's a couple of ways of doing this, but this is the classic way. So bringing it out and crunch it in. Now you can straighten your legs entirely, and if your sofa's not in the way, you're going to straighten your arms entirely and bring it in. Again, nice and controlled. There's no mad tearing hit rush. I just want it to be much more controlled than that. Okay, we're doing a few more, bringing it out and bringing it in. And let's go for 2 more. Out, and in. Gets a few more of the abs, this one, out, and bringing it in and relax. Lovely. Okay, and your final one is a leg extension. So again, slightly easier. So you're going to bring your hands underneath your bum, just create a little platform, resting your head on the floor, or you can lift that up. That does make that a little bit harder. So in that crunch position, you absolutely can rest your head on the floor though. We're going to flex our feet and then we're going to bring those legs away from you, extend them away, hence leg extension, and bring it back in. So I'll set the timer. Now the only thing with this is just make sure your back, so your back's not arching. Keep it on the floor, use your abs, squeeze, and then bring it back in. And hip flexors are doing a little bit of work as well. Bringing it out, hold it out there, squeeze nice and straight and back in. If you're really struggling with that, then don't bring them so long. You can just bring them out like that and back in again, especially if your back's starting to take the pressure. So really try and push and back in. And let's go for one more, push it out, squeeze, off, and relax. Wonderful. Okay. Let's just see how we're going for timing. Okay, so we're going to finish. Abs should be warmed, glutes should be warmed up, back should be feeling nice. We're going to finish with something called Let's Get Sweaty. Yes. So we're going to finish, yes, exactly, feeling a tiny, tiny bit sweaty, although I'm fairly warm already, to be fair. And I want to see if we can do this twice round, okay, not just once round. So I'm going to bring us up and we're going to start. This is all relatively, oh God, hang on a minute. Technology. Okay, I'm just going to have to plug this back in or else it's going to die and that's not what we need. Right, so we're going to start with nice old classic butt kicks. Okay, so nice and jumpy, not too difficult, just jumpy. And then we're going to go a little bit more difficult. Hip hinge squat to a crisscross. I will definitely have to say that one. And then the last one is a squat and a side jump. Okay, so the last two we are combining a few just to test your brain whenever you're doing this, but for us, a Tuesday lunchtime. So we're going to start super simple. So butt kicks, 30 seconds. All right, let me just get that up. Okay, 30 seconds butt kicks, which look like this. Okay, are we ready? 3, 2, and 1. That's it. So just bring those feet as close to your butt as possible, and your hands can be here or there. I personally prefer it there. That's completely up to you. And we're just going to keep working our way through. We are 15 seconds down already, looking good. That's it. Nice and bouncy. Not too difficult. This is a little bit puffy, this one. Get the heart rate back up. That's it. And 3, 2, and 1. Rest it out. Wonderful. Okay, so if whilst I'm describing, you just want to keep a little march on the go, that would be great. Just keep your brain going. So we are going to do hip hinge squat to crisscross. A little bit confusing this one. I'm going to do it to the side. Hip hinge, squat, crisscross. Okay, I'm going to do it to the front now. Hip hinge, legs straight, squat, bed legs, crisscross. Okay, so little bit pacey. Don't go too fast because I want the back of your legs to get this. So what we're going to do is 30 seconds. I'll do it with you. Hip hinge, squat, crisscross. Okay, are we ready? 2, 1, off we go. So hip hinge, squat, and a little crisscross. And again, hip hinge, squat down, crisscross. That's it. Now you can go a little bit faster on this, but I think the quality might go. We're halfway. Okay, hip hinge, squat down. You can do this as weights as well if you want to. And let's go for one more. Hip hinge, squat down, and crisscross. Lovely, very nice. Right, that's your second 30 seconds. So your last 30 seconds before we repeat this is a squat side jump. So a little tiny bit less confusing. So we're squatting down, jumping to the side, squatting down, jumping to the other side. So the pace is squat, jump, squat, jump. Okay, so not manic, but let's get some in. So 30 seconds if we're happy with that. 2, 1, let's go. Squatting down, jump, squat down. That's it, looking good. Nice and high with the jump. And if you're really struggling with the side bit, just jump. So we just do that if you want to. That's it. Okay, we're well over halfway. Woo! Okay, heart rate should be coming up now. Nice jump. Woo! And 3, 2, and rest it down. Lovely. All right. Rest it out, rest it out. Oh, little drink if you want it. I'm going to go for that. And then we're going to go for your last round. Okay. We are nearly there. Just a few more moves to go. So let's start with those butt kicks. We're going to go for 30 seconds. Are we ready? Are we set? We're looking good. 3, 2, and 1. Off we go. That's it. Flick it back, flick it back. Looking good. That's it. We're trying to just on the one spot, but if you decide that you want to trot around a room, that's absolutely fine. As long as you're doing the move, keep it going. Now you should, as you can hear from me, be quite puffed out, especially in the second round of this. That's it. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And we are. And 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Bring yourself out. Keep trotting. Whew, little break, little break. So then we're going to go for the hinge, squat, crisscross, as to remember. Right, are we ready? 8, 9, and 10, 30 seconds. So hip hinge, squat down, crisscross. I'll do it this way, hip hinge, squat down, and crisscross. That's it. Hinge, squat, crisscross. Back of your legs, front of your legs, cardio. Keep working your way through. That's it. We've got time for one more. Squat and crisscross. Excellent. March it out. Absolutely brilliant. Right, we are pros at this now. 10 seconds break, and then we're going to go for those little squat, jump, squat, jump. If you're struggling with the side jump, just do a upwards jump. 3, 2, and 1. Last 30 seconds. Squat and across. Squat and back again. That's it. Now, you can hear out of breath by now. That's what we should be. Slightly sweaty. Nearly done. And crack on with your day. That's it. So remember, you can just do that if you're really struggling with the side. Okay, are we ready? And 3, 2, let's get one more in. Yes, well done. Woo! Very good. Woo. Right, heart rate should be good now. Let's just cool ourselves down a little bit, cool ourselves down. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, everyone. Really, really nice work. So we'll do a teeny, teeny, tiny little cool down now, and then I'll let you crack on with your day. So as we are standing, I'm just going to bring this back slightly. Heart rate should be coming right down fairly quickly now. Arms all the way up. Woo. Holding your hands at the top, just clasp them together, and you're going to lean over. And bring it up, and we're leaning over. That's it, bring it back to the top, rolling it down. Just roll those shoulders again. Excellent work this afternoon, everyone. And back. Good, just roll those wrists again. Relax them out, rolling it down. Relax down here for a second and just drop your head. And then we'll do little semicircles one side. So ankle, hand in hand on ankle, and the other way, hoping not to crash into your furniture. And back again. And back again. Back to the center. And nice and gently and slowly roll it up. Wonderful. Okay. Hopefully you're feeling good. Thank you very, very much for joining me this afternoon. And hopefully I'll see you next week. I'll take it off record.